Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the afternoon edition. We are going to be talking Jonathan Smith, correspondent Manchester City for goal.com, confirming Gabriel to Arsenal is this week and is going to be the first major departure from Manchester City. However, he will not be the only one. Fabrizio Romano, finally, the English media and also European journalists are now catching up with the Raphinha story broken by goal.com in Brazil. Fabrizio Romano has also now caught up and confirmed at the moment there are very intensive direct negotiations between Arsenal and Leeds United for Raphinha. Ekrem Kona has also said that Arsenal need to sign, Arthur Melo. A deal failed in January, but Arsenal will try to get him as kind of a backup player in that central midfield position. Lisandro Martinez and the new goalkeeper all discussed in this edition of Arsenal Transfer News. Do me a huge favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast. Let's get this one to 500 likes and also subscribe to the podcast because we are very, very close to 45,000 subscribers. So if you can subscribe to the podcast, it massively means a lot, especially if you're new. Now, let's get to the content. Let's start off with the story written around Raphinha by Fabrizio Romano. Like I said a couple of hours ago while reporting on this story, the English media and also a couple of European journalists were not actually up to speed by the time we broke it, but now they have started coming up and also catching up. Fabrizio Romano being the first one to confirm that the Raphinha situation at the moment, Barcelona agreed personal terms with Raphinha, but no agreement on the fee with Leeds United. Arsenal are in direct negotiations with Leeds United at the moment, interested since March. Both Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur have also been in contact too. The fee could be around 65-75 million euros. That is according to Fabrizio Romano and the story around Raphinha. If you have not seen the breaking story, if you have not seen the first part of the story we did confirm, according to Goal Brazil, that there are advanced negotiations between Arsenal and Leeds United. There is a possibility that deal could be concluded and completed as soon as possible. Leeds United have been asking for a hefty fee, 55 million euros and above, and that money should be paid across no installments. So that money should be paid upfront, and that is the reason as to why Barcelona have actually pulled out of the race. So according to what we know, Arsenal and Leeds United are in negotiations. Talks are ongoing for Raphinha at the moment, as per Fabrizio Romano. But goal.com in Brazil can confirm that the deal is very, very close between Arsenal and Leeds United. The player does not have a problem with moving to the Emirates Stadium. He will be okay if Barcelona do not come around. And actually, what I can also confirm is that the entourage of Raphinha has not received any updates, and they have not spoken to Barcelona and their representatives in a very, very long time. Barcelona are believed to have cooled their interest in Raphinha, and it is more now believed that they're pulling out of the race rather than trying to ignite or reignite their interest. So Arsenal now are the only club on the table, with Leeds United discussing a fee, which we believe, according to Romano, is going to be around 65-75 million. Spurs, Chelsea have all been around this deal. However, it looks like Arsenal are the ones now in negotiations, interested in the player since March. Fabrizio Romano, a big update around that. But when you talk about big updates, when we talk about huge updates this afternoon, there is one from Manchester City and their correspondent, the correspondent for Manchester City for goal.com, that is Jonathan Smith, has also broken a big one. I think you can call it a big one because for Arsenal fans, this is all they are waiting for. He said, Gabriel is expected to be the first major departure from Manchester City this summer, with a number of high-profile players set to follow. The Brazilian is close to completing his switch to Arsenal, with a possibility a deal could be announced in the coming days, Goal has learned. Meanwhile, Everton are leading the chase for Ukrainian international Alexander Zinchenko, while Chelsea want forward Raheem Sterling, as per Jonathan Smith, correspondent for Goal.com, reporting Manchester City. Now, that one is one update that I was waiting for, personally. I was waiting for someone closer to this deal. Look, I love Romano and I love David Onstein, but I wanted someone very, very, close to Manchester City. Someone who has been, reporting from inside the walls at Manchester City to tell us, is this deal really done? How close it is? And when do we expect the announcement? It has happened. Johnny Smith, correspondent, Manchester City for Goal, says this one, guys, this week it is done. Gabriel Jesus is going to be the first major departure to leave Manchester City. Now, today a couple of reports have been coming up, regarding Tottenham Hotspur, regarding Chelsea as well, that Tottenham Hotspur have contacted the player, that Chelsea have also contacted the player in the recent days. However, I will confirm to you that according to Goal.com, they are confirming the switch is to Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano 2 weeks ago confirming that he will be moving to a Premier League team. Leonardo Baran last week confirming that he's moving to Arsenal. And now Manchester City correspondent at Go also confirming that he's moving to Arsenal Football Club. Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, no chance. Absolutely no chance in this one. So Arsenal will be getting their man. Mikel Arteta has already told them he's building a new forward line. He's building a new look in his attack. And the pivot is Gabriel Jesus. Now, it is believed also as well that I want to tell you this, that the fee is around 58 million euros. The initial one, that was the initial bid from Arsenal, which was around 35 million euros. I think it was kind of, testing the waters because the player is on has 1 year left on his contract. So they were testing the waters. Was actually turned down. Arsenal structured one that will total to 58 million euros, including bonuses and add-ons. So that one, guys, this week we expect Gabriel Jesus to be landing at Arsenal as a new signing, as per Goal.com from Jonathan Smith, and also, very, very credible source there, Goal.com. So one more time, Gabriel Jesus is expected to be the first major departure from Manchester City this summer, with a number of high-profile players set to follow. The Brazilian is close to completing his switch to Arsenal, with a possibility a deal could be announced in the coming days. Goal.com has actually learned. Ekrem Kona as well has spoken about our pursuit of Arthur Melo. Obviously, in January, we wanted Arthur Melo, and I thought Arsenal could have gotten that deal done. And honestly, if we had completed that deal, there is a high, possibility that we finish in the top four, or we could have finished in the top four. But Ekrem Kona has also written around that, and he said Arsenal are still very much interested in Arthur Melo. Although the priority is Yuri Tillemans, Arsenal will try to sign Yuri Tillemans this summer as soon as possible. However, Arthur Melo is seen as a player who can provide depth in that area. Now, that confirms this story for me. One, confirms that Yuri Tillemans to Arsenal is 100% on, because they're also looking at a player who can provide such kind of backup. Xhaka will be leaving the club to Italy or to Germany, depending on where a suitable bid for him and also for Arsenal Football Club is actually going to come from. But what you can confirm with the Arthur Melo story, look, Ekrem Kona, one of those journalists that I've been following right since last summer, but one, I think, and it's been very, very spot on when it comes to reporting around Arsenal. It's been very, very spot on, giving you those updates that you think come in at a time when you need them. So Arthur Melo, would I take him at Arsenal this summer all day long? He's one of the very, very talented Brazilian midfielders that Arsenal could ever get on the market. His contract as well is not that long, so you expect him to cost around 25 million euros. So if you can bring in Yuri Tillemans for around 35 million euros. You also bring in Arthur Melo for around 25 million euros. That is a very good window. I mean, Tillemans can play for you in the Premier League day in, day out. And then Arthur Melo can play for you in Europe, match in, match out. So Arthur Melo is still being considered as an active target for Arsenal Football Club, although at the moment the priority is Yuri Tillemans, and Arsenal want to complete that signing first. Lisandro Martinez. Court talks are continuing today. Like I reported in the morning, Arsenal's initial offer was turned down. Ajax hope to keep the player, but there are talks between Ajax and Arsenal to see if an agreement will be reached. Now listen, Ajax for me will not refuse to sell, and I think this is where it gets very interesting. They will not refuse to sell. They don't want to refuse to sell, but they are very, very fearful that if they let go of Lisandro Martinez, Julian Timber to Manchester United could also happen. Now, although Julian Timber has told Manchester United that he needs guaranteed game time, that really doesn't mean that Erik ten Hag cannot make such a promise. At the moment, Harry Maguire, Raphinha and Victor Lindelof are the favourites to start for Manchester United at centre back. So if Erik ten Hag can't tell Julian Timber, you're going to be my main centre back alongside Harry Maguire or Raphinha, then there is a high possibility that he will leave Manchester United. Sorry, he will leave Ajax for Manchester United. So what Ajax do not want actually is to lose Julian Timber and Lisandro Martinez. They don't want to lose both of their centre-back pairing this summer, and that is why it is now stalling. They want to first confirm, and this is my take on this. Honestly, I think they want to confirm: are we losing Julian Timber? If they can confirm that Timber will be staying at the club, then Lisandro Martinez will be moving on. Arsenal not the only club interested, but we are the only club closing in on the deal, and we are the only club in negotiations with Ajax. Now, finally, Arsenal are also prepared to land their third signing of this summer, and also our new goalkeeper, that is Montana. Now, someone told me in the morning that, actually I think it was yesterday in the morning, right, that Montana should not be considered as a new signing for Arsenal this summer. However, according to The Athletic, Arsenal are looking at 7 signings this summer, including Montana, Marquinhos, Fabio Vieira, Yuri Tillemans, Gabriel Jesus, Raphinha, and I'm forgetting the other one. But there are 7, as reported, as we talked about yesterday. And Lisandro Martinez, right? And Lisandro Martinez. How could I forget a player that I've just talked about? So, Arsenal looking at 7 incomings this summer. And mind you as well, he's not completed his medicals. Yes, the deal was done in January, signed in January, but he has not completed his medicals, and he has also not landed at the club to sign his contract. So there is a belief that he's going to be part of the new signings this summer that we will announce. This week is coming in either on Wednesday or Thursday to have his medicals. I will do a separate video about, telling you about Montana and everything you need to know about the transfer. But what you should know at the moment, this week we expect him to come in, do his medicals, sign his contracts, and start causing the selection headache for Mikel Arteta. Of course, he spoke to Sky. He spoke to Sky Sports a couple of days ago, and he said, "Look, I'm coming into Arsenal to make sure that Aaron Ramsdale, who has had a very, very good season, becomes the best goalkeeper he can ever become. I want to make sure that he becomes the best version of himself, but also I want to cause selection problems for Mikel Arteta." So this afternoon, we confirm that we confirm from Jonathan Smith that Gabriel Jesus is incoming this week, and Fabrizio Romano has said it is not 55 million euros; it's about 65 million euros. But yes, Arsenal are closing in on Raphinha. Speak to you in the next one. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast, and let me know your thoughts about all the Arsenal stories and transfer news in the comments below.